You guys, I did it! I bought a house! Hi friends, welcome, good morning, and grab yourself a nice cup of coffee or a cup of tea, make yourself cozy or comfortable, and let's enjoy this cozy little chat together. I'm currently drinking a cup of coffee and I thought that this was like the perfect time to simply have a little tea time or coffee time together, where I'm going to talk to you guys about some highly anticipated life updates and changes that I am super excited about, nervous but really excited about, and I couldn't wait to share it with you guys. I know I have waited to share it with you because I should have been uploaded this like a month ago. But I will get into that a little bit as well, because I did take a break, so I'll come to that later. But hey, if you're new to this channel and you're just stumbling in this video, hi, welcome. My name is Juliette. I mostly talk about books. I do some lifestyle, other things as well. This month I'm actually doing Vlogmas, 12 days of Vlogmas. I'm like uploading a video every other day. But you've come here with this Q&A and live update announcement video. So yeah, I'll just simply dive right in. I'm obviously going to talk about me buying the house, what that entails. I'll show you guys an empty house tour. I'll show you guys the mood board for the renovations. And that's kind of like what we're doing today. I'll also answer your questions in the end, a Q&A, because I got so many questions from you guys on Instagram and also here on YouTube. I want to thank you guys so much for everyone who even asked me a question. I didn't even know when I announced that I was going to do a Q&A. I didn't even know if anyone even wanted to know something or if there would be any questions. I was a little bit nervous about it, but I've got so many. I hope I'll be able to cover everything in this video. If you have any left, leave it in the comment section down below. I might be able to answer them somewhere along the Vlogmas Day videos. But yeah, I would suggest cozy up, grab your nice coziest blanket, and let's just simply dive into my huge and high anticipated life changes. I have been wanting to buy a house for years. I started looking in 2018 after I moved back from France after working this in Paris. And it was very difficult. I had like a college debt, of course, like I went to college, I studied, and I did have a debt for that as well. And I was also on my own. I've been on my own for quite a long time now. And I've always been trying to buy a house on my own, which is extremely difficult if you have a college debt. And so I first kind of like got rid of all of that. I started moving to different apartments, rental apartments, because I didn't want to stay and live with my parents anymore, especially after moving out already. Like living in France definitely learned me a lot of things with being on my own, and I kind of like wanted to do that as well. And I want to stay doing that. So I did. And I kind of like moved to different apartments. But unfortunately, with the salary that I have and also being on my own, the rents are very high here in the Netherlands. And that means that you kind of are only able to rent an apartment for a certain amount of money, and that means you're like at the lower part of the rental houses and apartments. That also means that you end up in certain neighborhoods or places that you might not want to be normally. Like it's not your first choice, and I unfortunately had that as well. I've had quite some bad experience actually. My first apartment was, so many people lived in there who did drugs, partied. It was crazy the amount of noise and things that happened over there. Like I've seen the craziest things in the hallways, and it was living as if I was living in like a college house, which I really didn't want to do, and I also couldn't because I was working, I needed to sleep. Then I moved from that apartment with my sister to a temporary house rented by the church. And we were able to stay there for 3 years, and we were first able to get another rental contract, but unfortunately the government here in the Netherlands changes some rules and we were not able to get another one. So we had to leave after 3 years. That was last year, and I ended up in this apartment, which is actually, when it comes to the rooms I have, amazing. I do feel that the balcony is quite tiny, especially I'm a very outdoor person. Love the garden that we had in the other house. And I also had a lot larger balcony in the first apartment in the Netherlands that I had. I'm not happy here. Mostly because this apartment complex is next to a very busy road. And as I am very noise sensitive, so I have a lot of trouble sleeping. So one of the questions I got is, why do you move again so very soon after moving into this apartment complex? Simply because I'm not happy here. I also pay a very high rent, currently about 1,200 euros each month. And it is quite a lot, especially for the fact that you're not happy, you don't really want to stay here. There's also a lot of noise from the neighbors, especially from the neighbors down. Just below me, when they are home, I can hear every conversation they have, literally like every single word they say. They probably hear me as well. They turn on the music so extremely loud that I can't even hear my own TV or my own music anymore. So yeah, I am not happy here. So I continued looking, and I was lucky this summer. I was lucky, very, very lucky. I was simply lucky. I decided to look a lot further from the places that I was first looking. I lived in Rotterdam ever since I was born. We used to live, well, my parents still live like in a suburb, and I used to live there as well, and now I actually live in the city. And I've always lived here, so obviously I try to find a place close to the city that I know and grew up in. But I have decided to move away, and I'm actually moving to an island in the province Zeeland. So I'll insert a picture right up here. I'll show you guys where I'll start living. I'm going to move to a very small village. So I'm actually leaving the city and moving to the countryside. The reason for this, because I got that question a lot on Instagram. Why are you leaving the city and going in a little village where there's literally only a grocery shop and that's it? Like there are like 2 or 3 churches, but that's it. Like I am very close to the beach and very close to a nature park. The reason why I'm moving away is simply because I realized that after so many years of searching for a place to really make my own and make my own home, I wanted to settle down. I want to settle down. I want to have a place where I can live, where I can build a future. A place for Sissy, for me, where we can live together. Sissy's my cat. I'll insert her here somewhere. I just wanted a place for the both of us. And also I want to stop searching. I've been focused on trying to find a house for the last 5 years at least, and been looking every single day, figuring out where do I want to live, where do I want to stay. And this is taking its toll on me mentally this extremely much that I'm currently at home. I am at home because of a burnout, but my depression has kicked in immensely ever since being home. So much actually that I was able to be moved up on the waiting list for psychological aid, because you have to be on a waiting list here in the Netherlands, and I was on the waiting list for a couple of months. And they moved me up because there were certain dangers and I needed to be moved up. And I am actually getting psychological aid right now, which is amazing. But it's also very, very hard. And I always thought that I knew I wasn't well, but I always thought that I would feel better as soon as I moved away. And I had my own place, my own house, my own apartment, and where I could settle down. But as soon as that happened, I didn't feel better. And that just really, really kicked in. But I'm not going to talk about, it's not a health update, so we'll stop talking about that immediately. You can ask me questions about that. I might do one later in December or January. I don't know. We'll see how everything goes. But yeah, I am just really happy with the house that I bought. The reason why I decided to leave the city is simply because I want to find a place. And the houses in the countryside are a lot cheaper. And I am going to be able to actually afford a real house with 3 bedrooms, a garden. We even have a utility room. Like, it has more than I would ever dream that I could have. Yes, it is in a very, very small village. Yes, I need to do some adjustments. Like, I won't be able to walk to certain shops or walk to transport that brings me into the city within 20 minutes or the city center. I know there will be some changes. I'm also moving away from my work, from my family. Well, especially from my work actually. I will be away for more than an hour, which I know in a lot of countries is not a lot. Here in the Netherlands it's kind of like accustomed to be traveling like 30 minutes max to family, friends or work. We're a very small country, so that's one of the reasons why. Yeah, I'm actually moving a lot further away. I'll be about 45 minutes away from my parents. I'll be an hour and a half away from my sister, which is going to be very, very hard because we're really close. I choose this because I was choosing myself. I need a space where I can rest. I am very noise sensitive, as I said, so I wanted to have a very quiet and calm surroundings and place to live, and I didn't want it to be too very busy, noisy place. I wanted to be kind of like a little bit further away, and I also wanted to have a place that I could settle down, have a garden, and that's the reason why I looked further away and ended up in St. Philipsland on the island of Tolen. I am so excited for it. I see it as a new adventure. I am going to tackle this. I'm going to bring you guys along because I'll do a vlogmas video. Day 5 is going to be Sissy and me moving to our new place. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I am very nervous about the distance between me, my family and everything that I'm used to. But at the same time, I do think that I'll be able to adjust. At least I hope so. We'll see. The future will tell, and I'm just really, really excited for it. I will in the end look also for different work or a different job. Probably a different school because I'm a teacher, a history teacher. And yeah, I'll probably look for a different school somewhere closer to home. But we'll see. Like currently I'm at home trying to recover, and I'll simply take it day by day and see what happens in the future and where I'll turn out in the end. But yes, I am moving. I finally bought a house. I bought a real house with an upstairs. I have a stairs that's going up. I actually have 3 bedrooms. We have an attic. I've got a utility room. I have a fake fireplace. I've got like, I'm so happy with it. The garden is amazing. But you'll see that like in the empty house tour, which I'll insert right now. So, as I said, I'll show you guys around in my new house. We are currently here in the hallway. Right behind me is the front door. And I'm going to turn over the camera because it's easier to show you guys that way. Like, I'm going to turn it over and show you guys the full house in its empty state. We are currently also starting the renovation process. So if you see my mom and dad walking around, don't be alarmed. But here we have the hallway, and it's currently looking like this. And this is probably one of the spaces that's going to change quite a bit. I'm going to get carpet all over the staircase, and on this wall there will be absolutely stunning flowery wallpaper with wainscoting all the way down below. Absolutely love that idea. So here we have the hallway. And it's pretty spacious actually, but also probably because of the fact that the ceiling is quite high, as you can see. So that's great. Here we have the toilet. Little outdated. I'm not gonna change anything here really, so it's going to stay the same. And here we have the living room, where I'm probably going to spend most of my time. One of the reasons why I fell in love with this house is because of this fake fireplace. Absolutely adorable, love it so much. In this room also not a lot is going to change. We're going to paint the walls in an off-white color, also the ceiling, and I am considering keeping the curtains because they are a very nice dark green, and I think it might fit the vibe of this room. There's going to be wainscoting installed all the way here in the living room, on the walls obviously, in color green as well. So that's the reason why I think the dark green curtains might look very pretty. But this is the living room currently, and I'm loving the space. And let me give you a little sneak peek of the garden. It's one of the features that made me fall in love with this house. So absolutely stunning. But let's go into the kitchen. And here we have my mom. She's waiting for me before I finish filming. Okay. But here we have the kitchen, which is also actually quite spacious, if I'm honest. I'm even not entirely sure yet, but I could put my dining table in here if I wanted to. But here we have the kitchen. I am not in love with the cabinets, if I'm completely honest. But as I said, I am running on a tight budget and installing a new kitchen is quite a lot of money. So I might look into redoing it. I already started peeling off some of the grey and it reveals a very nice, lovely red. And I really like this color a lot more, so I might take it off completely. I might regret it afterwards, but we'll see. I'm not sure. There's not going to change a lot for now at least. In the kitchen we also have a cellar, which is perfect for some storage. And then I have absolutely no idea what to call this room in English. In Dutch, literally translated in English, it would be side kitchen. Well, I'm not entirely sure if that's how you call it. But here I'm going to put like my laundry, my washing machine, probably also my fridge. I think it's going to be on this side and then the washing machine over here. And this could be like the place where I put my laundry every week. Perfect space for it. And then we have more storage and a fridge they left behind and a microwave. But especially the storing space, like you guys, so much storage in here. Love this, absolutely amazing. Now let me give you a quick tour of the garden. Here we have the garden. It's like 12 meters long, so extremely spacious. Like, can you see Sissy running around here? I can. She'll go ballistic after seeing this garden. Like, she'll love it so much. Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun and a lot of time here. Here we have more storage space, like an old shack that I can use for stuff for my bicycle and the house. Now let's go upstairs. And the bottom, as you can see, is a little bit outdated, but I kind of feel it's going to fit the whole cottagecore aesthetic. And yes, that means I'm going to keep it for now. Here we have the sink with a mirror. I am going to change this up. Hello everyone. Here we have a towel rack and the shower. I do need to hang up a curtain, but it's a pretty nice, spacious shower. Really like it. I'm not that mad about the tiles though. Like, I kind of like the old look. I don't mind it. So we're going to keep it for now because, as I said earlier, I kind of run out of money. And here we go to another room, and this is the room that I'm kind of currently planning as a guest room. So there's going to be a single bed first and later a double bed in here. And yeah, I'm not sure yet what I'll do with the walls here either. For now, it's going to stay like this, and this is going to be a renovation project just as a study. Maybe somewhere next year. The floor is also going to change, also carpet that I showed you guys earlier. And I kind of like the curtains. It's the same curtains as in the study. So I'll probably leave that for now until I know exactly how I want this room to look. But it's pretty spacious and I really like it. They left like one closet, a wardrobe, which I'm not sure yet. I might keep it because I'll be able to hang up my dresses and skirts. So yeah, really like the space. And then we come to my bedroom where my dad is already starting with renovation. Yeah. Here we're actually going to change quite a lot. The walls are going to be the absolutely stunning wallpaper. I am completely obsessed with that. And the floor is going also to be carpet. I am here changing the curtains here, probably in the same red curtains that I have currently in my bedroom, but I'll see if I'm able to hang them up here as well. Not sure yet. And yeah, this is how it's currently looking. The wall is going to be completely covered in wallpaper. We're going to paint the blue wall white first, because the wallpaper is very light and I'm a little bit afraid the dark blue will come through. So we're going to paint that first. And I have a built-in closet right here, which is so much space, you guys. Absolutely love it. I'm obsessed. And this is also the reason why I decided to sell my wardrobe. So really happy with it. A lot of space, love the room, it's pretty big. So yeah, I'm really, really happy. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed filming it. I know I was so nervous filming it because I've never done something like that before. But yeah, you've kind of like seen the house and hear me talk about some of the little things. I'll insert some of the mood boards right here. Here we have my mood board and I use Milano to create everything. This is the living room. I want to go for a little bit of a cottagecore theme. It is all very white and grey. Obviously the furniture is all gone. I have kept the floor, but I definitely want a little bit more of a different aesthetic. I'm not going for too much flowery. I'm going to use some stems to create some flowers on the walls. And I've got placed some wainscoting, which I'm really happy with. So yeah, it's a little bit cottagecore. I love this style and I hope to get it as much as possible throughout the rest of my house. For the hallway, it's all very white and I also wanted a little bit more cottagecore themed. So I ended up placing wainscoting there as well. The furniture can't be placed all in the hallway because it's unfortunately very narrow. But I went for the wallpaper, a different color for the wainscoting, but you have to wait and see how that turned out. The bedroom, I got rid of the blue wall. It's all very white. I wanted a more green, flowery aesthetic. Ended up going for something completely different in yellow color and stripes. But you also have to wait and see how that turned out. But I love making these mood boards to get some inspiration. I had a lot of fun making these mood boards. I ended up going a little bit in a different direction when it comes to the living room. The living room, as you guys can see in the mood board, is mostly green, but I ended up going for like this dusty old colored pink for the wainscoting and also for the stems that I'm going to put on the wall. Simply because the green didn't match the couch. I completely forgot I had a green couch. Well, it's a greenish blue and I just didn't like any of the colors that I was able to get from different stores. I didn't like how it matched with the couch. I also felt that it was too much green in the same place, which I kind of also feel in this apartment, like where I live currently still, where I'm now filming. You can see the couch and wall, they're both like almost the same color. And I don't really like that. So I didn't want to have this back in my new house. So I kind of like wanted a little bit more of a contrast and ended up going for a different color pink, which you'll see in the future because I'll do another house tour when everything is done. If the angle, everything has changes, it is because I'm filming on my phone currently. My battery died of my camera. Both of my batteries. I forgot to charge the other one, which is not the greatest. You can see I'm out of practice of filming actually. So, oh wait, I'm going to film like Vlogmas Day 4 after this. So that's going to be interesting, but we'll see how we do that. Probably my phone as well, but yeah, I'm sorry. But as I said, like, I'm not going to do a lot of big renovations. One of the questions I got was actually, are you going to renovate? Have you like big renovation plans? And I don't. I kind of do, I kind of do not. Like the wainscoting, for example, was probably a very big renovation for the living room. I didn't do this myself. I let it done by the company Plintenfabriek. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the result of that. I also did the carpet on the stairs and the upstairs as well. So all the rooms upstairs and the stairs have carpet right now. The reason why I went for carpet is because it's a pretty old house, so it's a little bit colder, which I don't mind. I'm got used to that, especially my older house and this one as well. So I'm used to it, and I think that carpet actually kind of like helps with making your house feel a little bit more warmth. And I also wanted to have like carpet on the stairs because of Sissy. Sissy knows how to walk stairs, but she can't really see it well. And I'm afraid she'll definitely slip when the stairs are like more smooth. So on a carpet, she kind of like can grasp it with her claws. So she'll be able to steady herself a little bit better. That's one of the biggest reasons why I ended up having carpet. And I don't mind. I kind of like carpet on my feet. So I'm happy with what I have. The only big renovation that's actually really going to happen very in the near future is the kitchen. I have not ordered it, I have not planned it, I know what I want. I'm going to make an appointment at IKEA very, very soon, and I'll talk to you guys about that when it's actually happening. So now you have seen my mood board, you have seen the empty house tour. You know where I'm going to live, and you know also why I'm moving again. And I think we kind of like come to this moment that we are probably going to simply answer the Q&A. I've got quite a lot of questions, and I'll first start with the questions. They're all about the house, and then I'll have some questions about other things which I'll end on. But let's go to the other questions. What appliances are standard in a Dutch home? For example, are clothes dryers and dishwashers standard? This depends on the house, really. When appliances are like built in, so you have like a built-in dishwasher or built-in I don't have like a stove, but like the top where you can put like on the pans. Why don't I know those simple words in English? But where you can kind of like cook on, the cooking plate, I probably is called. That's like built in. So I've got that one. Unfortunately, there was no dishwasher. The previous owner didn't use it. There was like a fridge, but she's taking it with her. So like everything that's like loose, we are allowed to take with us. And she did, however, leave like a microwave behind, so you can like leave things behind, but it definitely kind of like depends on what the previous owner wants to do. But it is kind of like more custom that as soon as like it's built in, you leave it. But if it's like a loose standing item, you're allowed to bring it with you. So yeah, I do not have like a lot of those things. Unfortunately, I have already been living in older houses, so I do have like a stove, a fridge, and also a washing machine. So I like the things I really need, I have. Is the heating system hot air through vents or hot water through radiators? And is there a need for a cooling system in the summer? Mostly it's like a hot water through radiators system. I'm fortunate enough that I bought a house where there's also an air conditioning installed, which is also able to heat up. So I can have like either warm winds going out of it or cold wind, which will be even greater in the summer. The summer here in the Netherlands can, especially the last couple of years, get pretty warm. I don't mind. I am used to living, well, more on the south side. I've always been lucky enough to have like houses on the south side, and also right now I have like the highest like apartments, so there's no one above me in this apartment complex, which also means that the sun was constantly on the building and on my apartment. So it was pretty warm. So I'm kind of like used to the warmth. I don't mind warmth either. And yeah, I am happy, however, that I have like an air conditioning in the bedroom, because I'll probably be using that this summer as well, which is very, very nice. What are Dutch traditions, celebrations when someone gets a new home? We give cards. Like I have quite a lot of collection of cards here and also in my new house from people who wants to celebrate with me in the new house. We also sometimes give like housewarmings, which I actually think is more like an American style of celebrating. I haven't done a housewarming in this apartment because I moved in here and I didn't really have the time to put on a housewarming. As soon as I had unpacked everything, I was moving again and packing up everything. So I haven't done that one yet, but a housewarming is probably something that I might be doing. At the same time, it's also quite custom to come and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee quite often in the evening. So a lot of people from my family are like a lot older, so they probably won't come to the housewarming, and we'll make like an appointment somewhere and then they come and see the house. Where are you going to live? Well, I'm going to live on an island in the province Zeeland, and it's called Tolen, and yeah, that's where I'm going to live, the countryside. I'm going to be a country girl. I'm really excited for that. And what are your decoration plans? Well, you kind of like saw it in the mood board already. I obviously am also on a budget in the sense that I can't really like change up all the furniture. Everything that I own is coming with me. Everything that I have in the living room is going back into the living room. Everything that I have in the bedroom is going back in the bedroom. There are a couple of little changes that I'm doing here and there, but they're like more minor little changes. For example, the bathroom, which I haven't shown you guys in the mood board because it was like a last minute decision. Is the floor real wood? You know, I think it is. Let me look it up for you guys, just one sec. It is actually real wood. Parquet. So it is like this wood. I probably should have like sanded it and oiled it and everything before moving in. But money, time-wise, I simply didn't have the time nor money. I might do it in the near future, but it is a very new floor. It's like, I think 5 or 6 years old. So I think it's pretty sturdy and will probably go with me for a very long time. So those are like all the questions that I got for the house, because I already answered like where I'm going to live, why am I leaving, and I think I kind of like dived into that mostly. So I also have like a couple of other questions about me and other things that I love to do, and especially also about renovating. Will you film the setup of your library in your new home, or plan to unhaul more books? I am planning on unhauling a couple of books. I've been packing up the bookshelves. And yes, there were a couple of books that I had in my hands that were already on the unhaul stack the last time, but I was like doubting about them, and I had them in my hands this time around, and I was like, I'm not gonna read those. Like, I put them back on my shelves. I do not see myself reading them, so they'll probably be unhauled. Will I film this again? I am not entirely sure, but if you want, I can probably like include it with setting up my library again. I am planning on filming it because quite a lot of you guys, especially on Instagram, asked for this. I am going to be honest, I really liked my bookshelves before packing them up. I loved my setup that I had. There were a couple of bookshelves a couple of shelves that I was not entirely sure about that I might want to change. But they're going to be mostly the same. So I'm not entirely sure how interesting the video is going to be. I will show you guys how I pack up my books, which might be interesting as well, because it's like the third time moving with like a moving company. So I have like 2 different boxes that I can show you guys and show you how I pack them up. So I'll definitely do that as well. But yeah, I will film it because so many people ask for it. So yeah. How many books do you have? I don't know. I'll promise I will count them for you guys. I will. When I unpack them, I'll count the books that I have, and then be embarrassed and very ashamed by the amount of books that I have, probably, but I'll promise I'll count them. I think I have a lot. How did you get such a fanatic book reader? I've always read, like ever since a little child. It is kind of like how I was brought up. When my parents did the grocery shopping, they dropped me and my sister in the local library. So we could like spend our time in the local library, and they would go next door and do the groceries. And that's kind of like where my love for books came from. I started reading. I brought 6 books a week with me home. I read a lot. I've never had a lot of friends. Even as a child, I was pretty a loner, and I still am actually. I never had a lot of friends, so I had like a lot of time to read. And my books became my friends, which maybe even sounds a little silly or sad, I have no idea. But yeah, they became my friends, and I loved spending time with them. And I was able to read so much, and I really enjoyed it. That's really how it happened. My mom always read to me before going to bed. And yeah, I think that kind of like influenced me becoming a fanatic reader. What would the perfect library look like in your house? Perfect? like these old school English book type of libraries. If you know Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince and you have seen the house from Snape, his living room is like my dream living room. Like, you can say a lot about that guy, but he knows a library when you have one. Like, amazing. Love it so much. Like these old Victorian-esque, with all the shelves, built-in shelves on the walls, have like little fireplace, this red chair with like this fluffy blanket on top of it, cats laying around, dark wood. I really love this type of wood for the bookshelves. Yeah, that's kind of like my perfect library. Just books all around you. That would be amazing. Efteling vs Disneyland. Who wins and why? Disney all the way. Don't get me wrong, I love the Efteling. I do. I love the Efteling. I think it's the best theme park we have in the Netherlands. And for me, it's Disneyland Paris and Efteling number 2. Yes, I've been to Disneyland California. And yes, I've been to Walt Disney World. I would probably say Walt Disney World on number 2 and then Efteling on number 3. I love the Efteling so much, you guys. I think it's an amazing theme park. I love being able to go there every year. And I just love it. It's getting better and better. They have so many amazing plans for the future as well. The renovations that they do are incredible. Like the Danse Macabre, like how it used to be, is not nostalgic. And I loved it. But what they did with it, it's so scary. I am so sad because I'm really afraid when I get onto that ride, but I love it. I love Disneyland so much. Like, I grew up going to Disney more than is probably good for you as a child. Like, I went there a lot. Like, we would go at least 3 times a year. And I loved it. Like, I've grown up with Disney more than with the Efteling. Like, the Efteling is something that we've been doing ever since like high school. I've been going a lot more. But yeah, before that we would go once in a while. And Disney was always there. And that's probably why I love that a lot more. Also because I loved watching Disney movies. I also grew up with Disney Channel. And well, the old Disney Channel then. And I just loved seeing all my favorites cartoonish figures come to life. And yeah, that's probably why I love it so much. I love the magic. I'm not even that one that loves like the attractions as much. Like, I know a lot of people love certain attractions in Disneyland Paris. I do have like a couple. It's a Small World, Phantom Manor. Huge fan of those. But I go to Disneyland Paris for the sounds, the scents, the atmosphere. You could put me on a bench in Main Street or on Plaza just before the castle, and I could spend there a full week without getting bored. I love that. Like, I go for the atmosphere, really. I love it so much. And I do feel that the Efteling lacks that. Like, even though I think that they are trying to get it a little bit more, I feel that Disney parks have a lot more magic. As soon as you get in, you're transported to different worlds, which isn't the case with the Efteling. I do really like it though, but it's probably one of the reasons why I prefer Disney. Are there certain books you prefer to read in a certain language? For example, in English or in your native language? I don't really care. I do, however, sometimes crave Dutch. I read a lot of English. And the reason why I don't really care is also money-wise. Dutch books are a lot more expensive. Dutch translated books are crazy expensive, I feel, compared with the English books. Like, I could buy an English paperback for 9 or 10 euros on Amazon and buy the same one in my local bookstore for the double of the amount of money, for about 20 euros. And that's just a lot of money. And when I buy the same book in the Dutch translated version, paperbacks quite often go for more than 20 euros. I read English non-fiction, thriller, horror, fantasy mostly. I just sometimes crave Dutch because I read so much English. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a very chatty video. Like, I talked about a lot of things. I hope I kind of like covered everything. Mostly talked about my house, obviously, answered your questions I got. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. It would really help me out. I appreciate you guys so much. And I love you all for sending these questions, watching my videos. And I hope you will also join me for Vlogmas. I'll put the Vlogmas playlist in the description box down below, because we'll be at Vlogmas day 3 tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. I hope you will enjoy that one as well. We'll talk about books tomorrow, and I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.